What is going on, everyone? This is Corey with Xbox Tavern with another review. I believe this is my first review in 2025, so it feels good to be back. Let's get to talking about Carmen Sandiego. So any old school gamers like me will probably have played some kind of Carmen Sandiego back in the 90s. My personal one was Where in the US is Carmen Sandiego, and I definitely felt some nostalgic vibes playing this new version of the game. This time we are Carmen Sandiego. We are not trying to find her in most of the game. So we actually go through a story mode for this game. I don't think that it is tied to the Netflix show, but it definitely has some similarities. And the story could be tied. I don't know that source material, but my daughters watch it after watching me play this game, so I'll have to ask her once she gets through with it. But yeah, this is Carmen Sandiego in the modern times. What we're doing in this game is finding bad guys based off of clues, real world clues, suspect clues, and tracking them down. Very similar to what you would think this game would be like. Now, the game does offer a campaign mode, so you are following a story. There are multiple episodes out with more to come. And there's also a mode that kind of just lets you endlessly play different scenarios. But the gist of the game goes like this if you are unfamiliar. You are given some kind of report about a bad guy or some kind of thief activity going on, and it is your job to track that person down. Now, this is all encompassed in a time frame. For example, you may have 7 or 5 days to find the thief and accurately place a warrant on them and arrest them within that time frame. And the way that you move down in time is by moving to different locations and gathering clues. Now, in the base sense of the game and the mode where you can kind of endlessly play, it's like some 2D-ish stuff going on, and you may come across a section that does a little logic puzzle or you have to answer a question. But for the most part, you are just getting hints from the locals there in that particular location. Now, almost every location, if not every location, will give you a city lead. That will help you get to the next city correctly. The reason you want to get to the next city correctly out of 3 possible choices is because if you go to the wrong city while you are traveled back and you get to choose again, because it will tell you, it costs you time. So there's where a little bit of time management comes into play. It's not time management in the sense that you have to act fast, you just have to act correctly. The other thing that they can drop, which is a little bit more seldom in my experience, are suspect clues. And this is kind of the other half of the game. Both city leads and suspect clues help you obviously narrow down an answer to a question, either where or who. The city leads may have you look at the airport codes or take apart a key part of the sentence where you have to figure out that this country that you need to go to uses dollars as currency, or this one specializes in this export, things like that. The suspect clues are similar, but regarding people. So you might get a clue that the suspect is right-handed. That one's pretty blatantly obvious what that means. There are others that say this one was really afraid of the dentist. And in the suspect tracker, which is pretty cool, you have a set of suspects, and they will help you using filters and narrow down who your suspect is. And one of those sections is fears. And one of the fears that you have as an option to filter on is the fear of teeth. So if a suspect or a thief is afraid of the dentist, it likely means he is afraid of teeth. So you can filter out the suspects from the list via that way. Sometimes the suspect clues you get are just rumors, and it will tell you that, so you may not want to use them. Or if you want to confirm those rumors, you can, as long as you pay some time. It may cost you 4 hours of your time to answer that suspect clue. And you're going to be going through this loop and chain over and over and over again because that's the game. Where it differs a little bit is the campaign mode, the story mode. It actually has some production value, and in some of the levels, again, you're playing Carmen Sandiego, you get to walk around that little section. It's not very big usually, and you get to do something, some kind of puzzle, some kind of logic game, and then clue gathering that's going to help you fill out kind of your encyclopedia of all these places. Now, one thing that I kind of enjoyed about the game is that it took me out of the game, and maybe it was cheating because I hadn't learned it yet in the game, or I missed it. I don't think I missed it, but it's possible. But there were some clues that definitely had me Googling things and learning about these countries. There was a particular item, I think it was some kind of woven basket that I didn't know what it was. I never heard that name before. So I Googled it and found that it's mostly done in this country. And what do you know? That country was on one of my lists that I had to pick from to travel to. So that ended up helping me make that decision. And so I kind of like that. It felt more interactive that way. But if you don't want to do that, most of the clues are in the game. Again, if not all the clues, answers can be found there. But some of them are a little bit more obscure, and you find them in the flavored text, the lore that you pick up. It's not really lore, it's facts, to be honest, that you get from playing the game more. I just hadn't found them yet, and so Googling them was my option at that point. But kind of to wrap up the scenarios, once you get to the final destination, you are given some kind of indicator that this is it, the thief is close. You have to pick one of the right locations, but the other stipulation is you had to have placed a warrant on a suspect. So that's why you do need to balance your time that you have with the gambling, I'll say, of gathering enough clues to make your warrant and your arrest. If you happen to give a warrant to the wrong person, you arrest the wrong person, you lose, you got to do it again. You do get experience points, but they don't really do anything. They just kind of block you from continuing on with the later levels in the campaign and the quote unquote more difficult levels in the kind of what I call endless mode. So there is some artificial lengthening of your gameplay with that. Otherwise it didn't really do anything extra for me other than make me play a few extra cases here and there. But that is Carmen Sandiego overall in general. Like I said, there are several story missions out at the moment, but there are some that in the game they say coming soon. So take that for what it's worth. You do have an endless mode, so there's always replayability. It's not super difficult, so this would be great for some kids, maybe preteen age, or younger if they can comprehend the clues and whatnot. But I was able to play with my kids, and we solved the cases together, so it was pretty fun. But yeah, that is Carmen Sandiego. Definitely gave me some old school vibes to the games I played on the computer back in the day, and I enjoyed this one. Not hard, to say the least, but enjoyable for the short time that it took to get through it. I don't think it overstayed its welcome at this point. And when and if new episodes get added, I'll probably pick those up just to kind of play them and see what they're about, and to kind of just get back into the game, in small chunks at that point. So I hope this has been informative for you. Be sure to check out xboxtavern.com for my final score on the game, and I will catch you in the next review.